this A and B is parallel and perpendicular lines. Can you tell me what you know about parallel lines?
Oh, they go together.
Like this or like this, right? They're never going to do what?
Cross.
They're never going to cross. They're never going to touch each other, okay?
And isn't this like perpendicular?
Perpendicular makes 90-degree angles. Okay, so here's what we know. Two lines are parallel if they have the same, what would that be? If they sit like this, the same what? Or like this? The same
Shape.
No. Think about what you know about lines.
Point.
Slope. If they have the same slope, they'll be parallel. But they also have to have a different,
Point.
it is a point, a different y-intercept. Okay, if you think about that, if they have the same slope and the same y-intercept, what is true of them?
That means they're parallel.
Not parallel. If they have the same slope and same y-intercept. So say I have, here's an example for you. Let's say I have this line.
Those are.
I missed. Okay, so I have the orange line. And then I have a line that has the same y-intercept and the same slope, down 2 over 2.
That's the same line.
It's the same line, okay? So you can't say those are parallel because they are the same line. They intersect all over the place, right? So you cannot have the same y-intercept and the same slope. So you need to have the same slope but a different y-intercept. Does that make sense? Okay. So if you look at this picture here, your y-intercept is 2, and your slope, if we pick another point and another point, your slope here is up 2 over 3. So your slope would be 2 over 3, okay? Now look at the second line, the red line here. Well, red for me and anyone doing it on the iPad. Your y-intercept, your B, is what? -3, okay? And then my slope, here's another point on the line and another point on the line. My slope is up 2 over 3. Up 2 over 3. So notice my slope is the same, but my y-intercepts are different, and those two lines are never going to touch. Okay? Okay, so we're going to try a few things with parallel lines here. The first is this. It says a line passes through the point 12, 5 and is parallel to this equation. Write an equation in slope-intercept form. Now, I'm going to show you two different ways to do this, and maybe take notes on both ways. Example 1 and example 2 are the exact same type of question. I'm going to show you two different ways to do it. Pick one. You pick which one you like better, and you may do that one every single time. I don't need you to be able to do both of these, so it's totally up to you which one you like better. Okay, so just watch these next two with an open mind, like thinking about, do I like this better or do I like that better? And then I'm going to poll you because I will do the one that the most of you like better more often. Okay?
I have something to say about that. My friend got to school and then they closed it, so then tried to
Okay, so here it is. Shh. You're making the choice. We are doing a point and a slope. Okay, but we can do it one of two ways. If we're putting it into slope-intercept form, we can start with slope-intercept form. Okay, so if you like to just work with slope-intercept the whole time, this is what you will do. Okay, if it's going to be parallel to this equation, what is your slope going to be of your new line? Olivia,
Yes.
talk to her later.
Okay.
You need to get this stuff.
Okay, I got it.
Put it away. What's your slope going to be?
Our slope is 2/3.
2/3. Okay, so if this is the current slope of the line, and our new line has to be parallel, then our slope has to be 2/3. We need the same slope, okay? But then we have this point, and a point is always an x value and a y value. So if you think about slope-intercept form, I just gave you a y, an m, and an x. Slope-intercept form needs a y-intercept. We can now find it, okay? So you set this up. the y is 5. That equals the slope, 2/3, times the x value, which is 12, plus the b value. All of this is so we can figure out what is our y-intercept. We're trying to solve for b. Okay, so let's simplify this. 2/3 times 12, you can plug that into your calculator, or you can go 2 times 12 is 24, divided by 3 is 8, right? So this would be 5 equals 8 plus b. So how do we solve for b?
Oh, you subtract 8.
Subtract 8. So we're going to take away 8 here, and we're going to take away 8 here. So you get -3 for your b value. Okay, so here's the deal. I want an equation in slope-intercept form. Now we have a slope and we have a y-intercept, right? Our slope is 2/3. Our y-intercept is -3. Forget all the other numbers they gave you. You're going to write it in slope-intercept form with that. So you're going to write y equals the slope, 2/3, times x, plus or minus here.
Plus. Minus 3.
Minus, because it's a -3 for our b, so -3. So this would be your answer, okay? We just took slope-intercept form. We plugged in everything we knew into slope-intercept to find the y-intercept, and then we plugged the y-intercept in. Your answer should never have a number for x or y. You're gonna put a number in for x and y to solve, but once you get to the final answer, x and y should be x and y, okay?
Yes.
Slope-intercept form. If you like point slope form better, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, this is how you'll do it. So this is still going to be your x1, y1. And then if we're going to go parallel to this, what slope do we need? 2. Your slope will be 2. Okay, now here's what I need you to see on these last 2 questions. Did we use this number, the -1? No. Are we going to use this number?
Yes.
No, okay? Do not use your b in the equation that's given. You need to find a new b, right? Because we can't have the same b. If we have the same b, it's the same line. So forget that number. We don't want it in any of our equations, okay? So you have a slope of 2. And you have a point, -3, -1, okay? We're going to plug that into point slope form and then turn it into slope-intercept form. This is what you did on your last quiz, right? Plug it into point slope, turn it into slope-intercept. God bless you. So in this situation, we're going to plug in y minus what? -1. Y minus a -1. So it's plus a positive, equals, what's m? 2 times x minus a -3, which is plus a positive 3. Okay, so we have y plus 1 equals 2 times x plus 3. They want it in slope-intercept, so how do you turn that into slope-intercept? We're going to distribute first. Okay, so it's going to be y plus 1 equals 2x plus 6, okay? And then we're going to subtract 1, and we get y equals 2x plus 5. And that will be our answer. Okay? Who likes the first way better? Example 1. Who likes the second way better? Example 2.
They're not the same thing.
We don't quite know yet.
Oh, wait, how are they different?
This one we started in point slope form and plugged everything in and then turned it into slope-intercept. This one we started in slope-intercept form, plugged everything in, then took out some things and left it as the final answer. So,
Well, I like the
you like first
second.
and you like second. I feel like second is a little bit easier just because you don't have to once you plug things in, you plug it in and you solve. The first way, you plug things in, but then you got to take things back out again and then put things back in again. And I feel like it's a lot of extra back and forth. So if you feel like it's too much back and forth, you like the second way better. If you don't care about that, go with the first way. That's fine, okay? I'll try to do both as much as I can. Okay, that is parallel lines. So parallel lines have what? The same slope, but a different y-intercept. Okay, perpendicular lines, this is a little bit different. Perpendicular lines are lines that intersect to form right angles. Okay, those are 90-degree angles, right? Right angles. They always have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. What does that mean?
It's like
Oh, come on. There we go. What does opposite mean? Like I said, what's the opposite of 7? What would you say? -7. If I said, what's the opposite of -3, what would you say? 3. Okay, so opposite means you're doing plus becomes minus or minus becomes plus, right? That's opposite. What is a reciprocal?
oh my gosh, it's like flip.
It's a flip, right? Whatever was this is now this. So if it's an opposite reciprocal, right? If I had A over B, the reciprocal would be B over A. So basically what we're saying is if my slope, I'm going to go down here with this. If my slope was A over B, then my perpendicular slope
B over A.
is a negative B over A.
You have to change the
Right? If it was a negative A over B, then the perpendicular would be a positive B over A. Okay? One detail about this, because vertical and horizontal lines don't work the same way, we're just going to say vertical and horizontal lines are always perpendicular. Because you can't say their slopes are opposite reciprocals because one has a slope of 0 and the other has a slope that's undefined, right? Those are not opposite reciprocals, but vertical and horizontal lines will always be perpendicular. So if they look like this, okay, vertical and horizontal will always be perpendicular. Okay, so here's my question. If my slope is 2/3 and I want to know the perpendicular slope, remember this upside down T, by the way, that means perpendicular. Okay? It's just a symbol they use in math for the word perpendicular.
What's the
Sorry.
What's the symbol for
Yeah.
parallel?
Parallel, they'll write like this. 2 lines that look parallel.
Oh, perpendicular.
Perpendicular because this is making a 90-degree angle. Yeah. They are intersecting, yeah. Okay, so if we want to find the perpendicular slope, if we started with a slope of 2/3, what's the perpendicular slope going to be?
3 over 2.
Negative 3 over 2. Okay? Okay, this one's a little bit tougher. If your slope is -5, what's the perpendicular slope?
5 over 5. It would be 5. 1 over 5.
1 over 5, right? If you think of -5 as a fraction, it's -5 over 1. So when you flip that over, it's a positive 1 over 5.
We're not doing the
Okay.
B one, right?
The what?
We're not doing this? Or are we doing that?
We're not doing the 5, 6b part. We are doing the 2 above it.
So when we finish that, we're getting our test back. And then
Yeah. Okay. So here's what you're going to see some of, okay? They're going to ask you, are the graphs of these lines parallel, perpendicular, or neither? And you are not going to, like, it's not parallel, it's not perpendicular, right? If I had, stay with me, we're not done yet. Let's say I had a coordinate plane, and I have a line like this, and I have a line like this. Those don't form a 90-degree angle. They're just intersecting, but they're also not parallel, right? So, yeah. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. You're not going to graph these. There's no graphing needed with this. All you have to do is get them in the same form, and the form we want is slope-intercept, because if they have the same slope and a different y-intercept, they're parallel, and if they have opposite reciprocal slopes, they're perpendicular, okay? So this one is already there. This one's in slope-intercept. You don't do anything to it. All you need to notice is that our slope right now is what?
perpendicular.
No, what number is our slope? 4/5. Okay, so here's our slope. That's your M. Okay. the other equation, we have to figure out, is that parallel, perpendicular, or neither? But you have to put it in slope-intercept form. So how do you put that first one in slope-intercept form? What do? Divide by what? Oh, I thought someone said divide. Didn't someone say divide? Oh, y. Get y by itself, right?
Divide.
By dividing. So we're going to divide by what to get y alone?
8? No. Negative 8.
By 4, right? If we want to get y by itself, how do we get the 4 out of there so that y is alone?
Yeah. Oh wait, that's and.
Oh yeah, this is and. Sorry. We're looking right here. This is problem A. Problem A, okay? So for this one, if you divide by 4 and you divide by 4, remember you have to divide by 4 everywhere. So we end up with y equals negative 5/4 times x plus 3. Okay, so now what is the slope of this line?
That is negative 5/4.
Negative 5/4. Okay, so we have our two slopes. We're trying to determine parallel, perpendicular, or neither. What would you say? Those are perpendicular. It flipped over and we changed the sign. Okay, so we would say these are perpendicular. Oops. That's what we're saying. In relationship to each other, right? These two, they are perpendicular. Okay, because we looked at this slope and this slope, and they are opposite reciprocals. Okay? Okay, so let's look at the next one. Do we need to do something here? Oops.
No.
To this first one.
Only on 8.
Only on the and sign. So my slope is 3/4, right? That's m.
Yeah.
It's in that form for you already. You don't need to do anything to it.
This one's parallel.
What do we have to do on the second one?
Divide by 9. What?
Not divide yet. We got to get y by itself, but to get,
Plus 3.
no,
Minus 4.
not add, subtract it. Okay, but listen, you have a 9 on the other side and you have a 4x. Can we combine those?
No, you cannot.
Okay, so we're going to subtract 4x and subtract 4x. This is gone. Now we have negative 3y. Do you prefer it negative 4x plus 9 or 9 minus 4x? I hate that way.
Why?
Because it's not in slope-intercept form. Okay, so like this. Okay, and then what do we have to do next?
And then you plus 4.
Divide by negative 3. Remember, when you divide, you have to do it to everything. Okay, so this is y equals negative 3 minus and a negative. This becomes a positive, right? So plus 4/3 x. Okay, what is the slope? Because you guys wanted it backwards. So I did it. If you like it the other way, like me, it would be this. Y equals 4/3 x minus 3. Okay?
No.
So either one of those is fine.
Or is this neither?
What is the slope?
Neither. Wait.
What's the slope of the line?
The slope is 3/4.
No, the slope here was 3/4. This one's 4/3.
I think it's neither because it's not negative. I know.
Right. Okay, so it's a reciprocal, but it's not an opposite reciprocal. So reciprocal means nothing. So this is neither. Okay? So if they're the same, parallel. If they're opposite reciprocal, perpendicular. If it's none of those, you say neither. Okay? God bless.